Hey guys, welcome to the 716 Sports Entertainment Podcast Monday Netflix Raw debut show for the year of, it's not the year of our Lord anymore. Now it's the year of, I don't know, we're gonna have to come up with something good for this year, I think. But
Year of TKO.
the year of TKO 2026. So last night was the first Raw of the new year, and we had a couple of title changes and a big time match with a not so big surprise if you've been following this channel. But we're here to break it all down. As always, I'm Mike, joined by Mr. Sean O'Neill. And Sean, how are you feeling about the first Monday Netflix Raw of 2026?
For the most part, I was okay with it. I'm not a real big fan of the huge amount of product placement slash cross branding that they were doing with the Netflix Stranger Things BS. Um, which I get it. I have no doubt that Netflix was the one that wanted it, especially with how big Stranger Things is. But there really wasn't a place for it in the episode, and all I can say is thank God we didn't get some sort of bizarre product placement match like that zombies one we got a couple years ago.
Yeah, given that they were going to do this, I was kind of surprised that like none of the cast was there from Stranger
Yeah,
Things because they usually like they do that because they put their Netflix people like all over the place, right? So I was kind of surprised that none of those people were there for this show, but I mean it is what it is. So yeah, but this was a pretty action-packed show, but it was also a show that surprisingly, I mean, didn't really have any. I mean, there were title changes, but there weren't really any major surprises, right? Everyone was expecting, spoiler alert, Chris Jericho to show up, but he did not. And Seth Rollins did not show up. And I mean, the only real call up here was kind of during a commercial break when Javon Evans basically got signed to a Raw deal. So that was certainly interesting. Before we get into the matches, and obviously we'll talk about the main event first because that was, probably the biggest news item of the show. But yeah, I was certainly really surprised that they didn't have Roman Reigns here or Dwayne Johnson or like anything.
yeah, no. The fact that there wasn't any big like special guests was surprising, especially with this being an anniversary show. Um, Even if they would have just had like people there promoting other Netflix stuff, I would have expected that because they've done that a bunch of times throughout the year. And this feels like it would have been the perfect like time to do that kind of thing. Um, I don't know. I wasn't really sold on Jericho yet because I think that Jericho is better held for the Rumble just due to the fact that there's going to be a lack of surprises. I think that's one of the few quasi surprises you can do. You know what I mean? And I was kind of hoping for Rollins, especially with the talk of him being backstage. I think that even if he would have just made some sort of like taped appearance or something, I think that would have been big. And I'm real disappointed that the Javon Evans signing happened during a commercial. Like this guy's your part of your future. Why are you relegating that to something nobody's going to see?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I certainly agree with you on that. And I don't it would have been a good opportunity to even if you were to put him in like a 5 or 10 minute match because you really, other than the main event, you had no other men's matches on the show at all. So it
No.
was, it was certainly a missed opportunity to not have him wrestle. But let's get into the main event because obviously that was kind of the main talking point from the show. And we've been saying it for weeks on this channel that CM Punk was not going to lose that belt. And I am surprised though that they did it the way they did. I mean, it was a good match. They gave it a good amount of time. Obviously the usual Vision distractions and being chased out by now all of the masked luchadors of Penta and Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee having chasing all the Vision folks out of there. But Punk just won. I mean, blocked the spear with a knee to the face and hit him with the GTS for the win. And there were a lot of close near falls towards the last 5 minutes of this match after all of the interference ended. There's a really cool spot where Breaker jumped off of the side there to kind of do like a lariat over the announce table, which was really
Yep.
neat. Um, but yeah, I was really surprised that Punk just won clean.
I think it's real big that he won clean. and especially with how much trash Breaker has been talking. And I think how has it taken people 20 years to figure out that the easiest way to stop a spear is just by kicking the dude in the face? Like, like I feel like this is the first time ever anybody's like stopped one of these spears. And he did it so like nonchalant. But before talking about the ending of the match, I even want to get into the beginning. I really liked Punk's promo that he had before about
Mhm.
people not talking about him and underestimating him as the champ. And I really liked I liked that Braun had a different singlet on, but I liked Punk's shot at Braun coming out in the
Diner
Michigan
jacket. Yep.
the jacket, the varsity jacket. And did you catch they did one of the AEW signature camera angles at the beginning when they showed Punk on his knees in the corner and LeBron and Braun's hand there? That's something that AEW is known for. So I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I like that.
No,
Um,
I didn't even
oh
notice
yeah,
that. That's interesting.
and the match itself, very good. I mean, these two guys can both go. Punk showed that even at his age, the guy can still put on a fantastic match. I was a little bit worried when Braun screwed up the Frankensteiner and they had to improvise there, the first one, when he
He
fell on
did it
his
again
head.
pretty quickly though after that.
Yeah, but it's always worrisome when someone lands directly on their head. But the way they did the interference and everything was pretty much what you'd expect out of the Vision. And I figured that we would get Ray and Penta. It's interesting to see that they're going to use Dragon Lee as part of it as well to work their way with the Vision and back up Punk. I think that has some fun potential. But I'm glad that the Vision didn't tie into the actual ending of the match.
Yeah, and I mean I think it makes sense, right? To like just to have three guys there to take out the other three guys. But I think this would have been a perfect opportunity to debut somebody.
Yeah,
Like anybody, right? Like anybody coming out. And I know there were like we mentioned it. It's obviously the big talking point, right? Like there's been a ton of teases for Jericho, and maybe this would have been a good opportunity to tease it to have him come out. But I don't really know if I want him just immediately in the title picture
nope.
when he comes out. When he even like I don't even know if I want him in the title picture at all, to be completely honest with you. I haven't really given that much thought yet, but I don't know if that's
I
something I think I need is like a 50-year-old Chris Jericho to be the world heavyweight champion. I don't think I need that.
No, I agree. I don't want him in the title picture either. And I think that if you put him in the title picture, you're going to have just a redo of what happened with him in AEW, and people are just going to get sick of him real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there. But yeah, certainly interesting. And I think to your point about Dragon Lee as well, I think they need something for him to do now too, because AJ Styles is very clearly involved with Gunther, right? So um yeah, I think it's fine. It gives him something to do, and I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yep.
So Um, so the show proper opened up with the Stranger Things stuff and Michael Cole acting like a complete doofus, and you
Like
know,
normal.
dude's never probably seen an episode of Stranger Things. Although to be fair, I've never seen an episode of Stranger Things, so him and I have something in common there. But with that said, yeah, just a complete doofus like he always is. But that's okay. It's one of his more redeeming qualities.
Yep.
Uh, but then we opened with the women's tag team match for the World Women's Tag Team titles, where the Kabuki Warriors defended against Rhea and Io Sky. And I don't think to many people's surprise, Rhea and Io captured the titles. And it was a fantastic match. And Io Sky, again, just proves that she's absolutely the best. Like, she's so fun to watch. And I wanted to give a special shout out to Corey Graves here, making a note about Hiroshi Tanahashi during this match. Did you catch
Yep.
that? Which was
Yep.
absolutely hysterical. But props to them. And yeah, I love watching Io Sky wrestle. She's a lot of fun.
So obviously you and I both had them pegged to win this match. The only problem I see coming out of this is who's going to beat them. Like they are literally the two top women's wrestlers in the entire company. Like, who is even on the level to beat them? Because you know it's not going to be Alexa and Charlotte, as fun as those matches are going to be, because they're going to get a shot at it, obviously. But like, honestly, I hope that they use this to build somebody.
I could probably see them holding on to because I no longer think Rhea is going to be in the title picture at WrestleMania. I think
No,
it's going to be Liv. So with that being said, I have a feeling the four teams that you see now that are involved, like directly involved, maybe even five if you want to count Lyra and Bailey, although they're kind of doing a little bit of separate stuff because they're kind of loosely involved with the Judgment Day.
yeah,
But the four main teams that are surrounding those titles should probably be in a ladder match for those titles at WrestleMania.
I'd be
And
okay with that.
then you could put it on anybody.
A match like that, yeah, you could. That's a good enough way to have them lose.
Anybody could win that match. It doesn't really matter who it is. You can put them
But
back. I think it's the least likely that they go back on Asuka and Kyrie. Um,
yeah,
I, I would assume Asuka and Kyrie are probably going to go their separate ways. I think sooner rather than later. I mean, they'll probably still be paired together, but it might be a little bit different. Asuka will probably start doing more single stuff after WrestleMania, I would think.
I mean,
Um, but we still got a lot of stuff left to do between her and Io and her and Rhea and stuff like that. But I think once all of that is concluded, I could see her going the singles route and going for, a singles title eventually. She's too big a star to not do that.
obviously with Kyrie as the overall weak link, especially like in this match, the match itself was still fantastic, and it showed you why three out of the four of the women in this match are the best women's wrestlers in all of wrestling. And Kyrie can hold her own occasionally, but she's just not as consistent as the rest.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, there was one other good thing on this show. And then after that, I kind of want to get into all of the bad. And I think going forward as a part of 2026, we're going to kind of change the format a little bit of this show. I think we're going to start to focus on the good first, then the bad, and then what we absolutely despised about the show. Because I found that some of these reviews, as I've listened back to them, although all of the ones that we've done over 2025 for you guys, they've kind of been all over the place. There's been stuff we've loved, there's stuff we've hated, and there's just been like, good and bad in the beginning, middle, of end of this. So I want to keep it more like streamlined for you guys. And I hope that you guys will like the new format as we, continue this into 2026. So the last real good thing about this show, as we mentioned previously, was Gunther and AJ Styles. And this is obviously going to become a thing, right? And Adam Pearce was talking to Gunther backstage and basically was like, you can go out to the ring and say whatever you got to say, but don't be an asshole. And Gunther was basically like, yeah, I'm going to be an asshole. And he
Yep.
went out to the ring and, just completely did the John Cena thing. And AJ Styles did come and interrupt him. And, they got into a little bit of a pissing match. And Styles just slapped him across the face. And then they butted foreheads together, which was awesome. So they're going to have a match in Berlin next week. So that should be a lot of fun.
I really want one of those t-shirts, the tap like a bitch t-shirts. And I really loved the fact that Gunther kept cutting off AJ every time he would try to talk until AJ put him in his place. And then the backstage segment that just added onto it as well when Gunther went to whine to Pierce and AJ popped out and basically called him a bitch again. I think I have to imagine that their first match is going to end in some sort of controversy. Like
Probably.
I can't see it ending with like a clear winner of some sort. Maybe Gunther cheats to win, like punches AJ in the nuts. But we all know that nut punching is one of AJ Styles' specialties, going back
Sure.
to his feud with Shinsuke. So I don't know if Gunther wants to get into that kind of back and forth battle, but obviously, if this is going to continue the legend killer quotes of Gunther, I think that AJ Styles is a perfect person to be up against, and he is the. It'll be interesting to see his style of wrestling going up against the powerhouse that Gunther is.
Yeah, and we don't know when AJ Styles is going to retire in 2026, do we? We don't know if he's
No,
going for the full year or if it's half a year. We know it's this year, but we don't know when he's going to be done. And like
I,
he's going to be done. Like he's not going to
yep.
AEW or anything else. Like he is done. after
He,
this.
he's already come out and said that he wants to be fully retired so he can spend time with his family and do all the things that he's missed from all these years of being on the road. And I have to imagine that he's at least going to go through WrestleMania. I feel
Oh,
like I feel like one last huge mania for him, and WWE would go all out for it. Like maybe it'll be like some sort of if you lose, you have to retire match to Gunther, and that's what I could see that being a way of doing it. And honestly, I think that would actually be a good way of doing it.
yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. That actually seems like it could be, yeah, that seems like it could be a really fun way of like doing that, like initially, and then you could kind of maybe, like right now, you can have them have their match for a little while, have them cool off from each other a little bit, go and do other things, and then come back when we get a little bit closer to Mania and have that match there, I think. And I think that would be okay. I Although I'm still of the mind, well, no, because Gunther is going to do his thing with Brock, I think, at SummerSlam. So,
Yep.
I think we'll probably get to that there. So yeah, so that was the good for Monday Night Raw. Now on to the bad. So let's start with Liv Morgan versus Lyra Valkyria. This, I don't know what we're doing with Bailey and her weird superpowers where she goes crazy and then is not crazy. And I don't really understand that. And this match just kind of sucked and it was all over the place. And Liv did win, which is probably the right call, but I didn't care for this at all. And this is Liv's first match back, and you could clearly see the ring rust. But also, Lyra looked really sloppy in this match too, and I didn't love anything about this match at all. And to be completely honest with you, I skipped through it because I watched the rest of it this morning, and I skipped through a good chunk of this. But this match, the parts I did watch were pretty bad.
Not gonna lie, I was doing work while that match was on and only sort of half keeping an eye on it because it literally just knowing that it was Liv's first return to the ring televised match, because I know she's done some house shows, but you could definitely tell, like you said, that she needs to get a little bit more practice in there, especially with the televised matches. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't anything more than just like a standard women's match. You know what I mean? It really didn't bring anything great to the table. And I feel like honestly, the Bailey and chasing Roxanne around thing kind of took away from it.
Yep, I completely agree with you. And it's just rinse and repeat again for the Judgment Day. We are just not moving anything forward with the Judgment Day at all. And that continues on to another segment we'll talk about in a minute. But
The
I did want to get into the women's intercontinental championship match as well between Maxine and Becky, where Maxine lost her title to Becky via Becky cheating shenanigans, holding onto the rope. The match was great, actually, but it also had a lot of problems. And I think the biggest problem that it had is we forgot all of the character work that we did with Maxine over
yep.
the last couple of weeks here. And we just turned Maxine kind of back into the same thing that she was before. And I didn't like it because her move set reflected that. And I didn't like that at all. Because I thought we did a lot of good work with Maxine, really building up her character and changing it. And she just went back to the what to me it seemed like the Otis goofball Alpha Academy Maxine Dupree. And Becky captured the title back, which that's fine, whatever. It's very clear that we're going to go on to a feud between Becky and AJ Lee for that Intercontinental Championship. We've been saying that for a while on this channel. That's the big money match. And it's very likely that that's the direction they're going to go for WrestleMania. But that's at the expense of Maxine, which sucks because now, to be completely honest with you, I could see Maxine falling back down the card completely.
So I don't think Becky needed to win here because I don't think AJ and Becky needed to have the title in it. I really did
Um,
not like the ending to the match. And I think you make a really good point though. And I don't know if they'll use it storyline wise and like have Natty come out and like yell at Maxine for falling back like into her old ways and not being the serious Maxine that she had been for the last couple weeks when she was winning. But I really, really hate taking the title off someone in the way that they did. Like, I get it. I get cheating happens, but it just I don't know. It just felt so like it didn't feel quite like a burial, but it felt like the next thing up from it.
Well, and you're completely right, I think, right? Maxine, I would love it if they had Maddie come out and be like, "Yo, why if you would have just listened to me and went back to being ruthless like I taught you to be, you would have retained your title there and not allowed that bullshit to happen." But let's be honest, they're not going to do that. Like
No.
they are not going to do that because that would be awesome. Like that would be
Yep.
really awesome, cool character work for her. I just don't trust them to do that. I have a feeling she's just going to have a match with like Ivy Nile or something like
But
that. That's
that's my
probably how
point
it's going to
though, is you had Ivy Nile in that backstage segment talking about how she doesn't want to go to the back of the line. What does it matter that Ivy Nile wants to now face Becky? Like Ivy Nile had history with Maxine, not Becky. So now Maxine not having the title means Ivy's gonna go randomly go after and lose to Becky. Like, I'm sorry,
go.
that's dumb and pointless.
Um,
Like you completely waste two cause make two things pointless there.
I mean, Ivy Nile already is a jobber, but I mean, you had the opportunity to take Maxine out of being a jobber, and I feel like she's going right back to being a jobber, and
Yep.
that's unfortunate. For to big to I and I get it to bigger stars, but you need to make more stars. Maxine is young, and she could
Yep.
be your future. Becky's not going to be around forever. AJ Lee is certainly not going to be around forever. Like, I mean, you're going to be lucky to get a year or two out of AJ Lee. She's going to leave whenever Punk leaves.
Exactly.
And
We'll make it maybe two.
yeah, and I mean, and Becky, I mean, she already kind of left and came back. I mean, Becky might stick around for a while. I think they signed her to a multi-year deal, but Becky's not going to stick around this mid-card thing forever, too. They will eventually put Becky back into the main event.
Oh, for sure.
So this whole thing was just a mess. But it doesn't even come close to the absolute disaster, which we've said on this channel countless times. That is the main event scene for the women on both SmackDown and Raw. What a shitstorm. And you got to feel bad for Stephanie Becker. Like, I get it. They're trying to have her, they're trying to like get her over, have her come out and cut promos. But let's just do the same damn thing over and over and over again with her. Like, oh, now Raquel's just gonna come out and beat her up again because Raquel already had two matches with her and lost. I'm surprised Nikki Bella didn't come out too. Like, I mean,
I
like, what are we doing? Like, I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of the same jobbers. Because let's be honest, Raquel's a jobber. Nikki Bella wasn't gonna beat Stephanie. Raquel's a jobber. And then on Jadeberg's side, I mean, Michin and BFAB are
oh,
jobbers. Like
speaking
what
of
what are we doing with all of these jobbers just going after the world title and like having it be month-long feuds with jobbers?
speaking of Jadeberg and jobbers and that, did you hear now in addition to hurting Michin, she also hurt BFAB at a house show?
I didn't know that, no.
Yeah, so Jadeberg over there is starting to build up a reputation, kind of like good old Bill G of injuring people. But no, the only thing I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I groaned when it was Raquel that attacked Stephanie.
Mhm.
And the only thing I can think of is I'm curious if Stephanie is hurt a little bit worse than they let on, and they had the attack so they can write her off for a little while. And it only made sense to have Raquel be the one to attack her at that point. But I don't know, and I'm gonna reserve judgment on how much I hate it because I do hate it until we see if she's just being written off for like a month.
I mean, you might be right. She might be being written off TV for a little while, and that's okay, you know. But anything else here would have been fine. Hell, have the entirety of the Judgment Day do it, and have Liv be the one leading it because that's the direction that we're going to go. I would have been okay with that if
Yeah.
if it was Roxanne, Raquel, and Liv that came out that did it, because Roxanne's going to be your next challenger, or should be, and Liv is going to be probably the one who takes the title off of her, right? So that's what they should have done. But, I just, again, same thing over and over and over again. You're just going to have somebody who very clearly is not going to be the one to win, to beat her for that title. Just another jobber, in my opinion, coming and
I
taking that, coming and doing that. And it's stupid. It's just irritating to me because they have opportunities so much to just do better and they don't do it.
You just made me think of something really fun that could be used for the final breakup of the Judgment Day and these women here for the Elimination Chamber to determine who's facing Stephanie at WrestleMania. Have all three as participants in the Elimination Chamber.
That could be fun. And that might honestly be the direction that they go because I have a feeling you're going to probably not have any of those women from those tag teams in there. So yeah, it
No,
probably will be all three of them for the Raw side, and then Michin and BFAB
no,
for the
because
SmackDown
whoever,
side.
no, because they won't need to be in it because the SmackDown, we're expecting Bianca to probably win the Rumble.
Oh yeah, maybe. I mean, still though, they will probably put some SmackDown people in there.
Just as filler, yeah.
Yeah. So, but who knows? Bianca might not come back. I mean, we've not heard a peep out of her yet, so I don't. She might not be coming back.
Yeah.
We don't know that. I mean, I feel like you would have heard something by now, unless they're really keeping that under wraps, but they're not really that great at keeping that kind of stuff under wraps. And I've not heard anything about Bianca. So, but we'll
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to wait and see how it goes. So that was Monday Netflix Raw, the first of 2026. So what is your final rating for the show?
So, in honor of the new year, we'll start it off at a three, and we'll hope that it's we don't see anything worse, and all we see are better. There's nothing to go but up with it being a new year, and I mean, Raw is generally the better of the two shows, even though out of the last two reviews we've done, SmackDown was definitely the better one. But I think that this is an opportunity to start fresh, and I think we have plenty of storylines going forward, and it'll be interesting to see where they go from here.
Yeah, I did also forget to mention that the Usos came out into the crowd
Yeah.
and said nothing. And
Yep.
that was also probably part of the bad as well. But I kind of just forgot about that because it was completely pointless. And they're just like, oh, we'll take on anybody. But
I
anyway,
figured that's why you didn't mention it.
yeah, it was kind of pointless and it didn't do anything. So I didn't really feel like adding it per se. But with that being said, I would agree with you. I think the title match was awesome. I am glad that Punk retained. I think it goes into a bigger problem that WWE has that they've really just decided that they're only going to have moments at big shows. And if it's not a big show, you probably can't expect a surprise moment anymore, which
Yep.
makes it a little predictable. And I don't love that, but you know, if that's how we're gonna do it, that's how we're gonna do it. And we just have to start expecting these big moments at the big shows. So I'm um I'm okay with that. And I also I very much loved the women's tag team match at the start of the show, but that's to be expected because everybody in it was awesome. So with that, my final rating for the show is a Stranger Things out of 5. So that is our show, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to have a ton of NFL content for you guys this week with the playoffs coming up. We'll probably be posting some stuff in the next couple of days here for you guys. So look forward to that. And with that, have yourselves a fantastic evening and take care.